YouTube! I am Pinstar, and this is Pinstar Plays Loop Hero episode 18. So, in our last episode, we, prudently ran away, but we were rewarded with a whole crap ton of new toys. We built the smelter, which gave us both the Storm Temple card and the Arsenal card. We built the library, which gives us the bookery, and also the Maze of Memories card. I'm not so excited about that one, but yeah, we have a lot, and I do mean a lot. Oh yeah, no, we did not get any supply, but we may want to trade some things out here. The exquisite mirror. I'm thinking about the exquisite mirror here, because we have storm temples now, and it also can reflect magical attacks against us, which I think we're going to be dealing with some foes that have magical attacks. Also, +1 defense. I'm liking that. I'm liking that a little bit more. I'm liking that a little bit more than +1 hero damage against rat wolves. That one's still pretty good. Let me see. Max HP. You know, we'll take this down so we can get more defense. I think that's a good build here, but yeah. So we got chapter 2. Once I want to play in chapter 2 to test all this out. Test out all our new toys. And yeah, look at all of these. So we already determined that the ancestral crypt is maybe not best for us. Maze of Memories. It does nothing. It takes up a lot of space. This actually lets you summon the boss a lot faster. And then the Arsenal creates an additional item slot, but lowers the item quality by 15%. So we get less stats on all of our items, but we get a whole extra slot to play with. I think that's worth it. Now then, Storm Temple strikes 2 random targets in its range with lightning. Every 5 seconds, lightning cannot be evaded. Multiple temples can stack. Alright, still liking our temporal beacons, although I may be changing how I work with these. We also got the bookery. Get that online. Let's get the ruins online. I like them too. We're going to go for a thick deck here. Because I also want to try Vampire Mansion. For some of the later fights, like, I don't want to Vampire Mansion my big game hunter block, but the later ones I think we can get away with. I'm also going to get rid of rocks. We're going to go forest plus meadow as our 2 things. Because I don't want to have to deal with goblins. The max HP, while good, I want to try and see if we can just stack it with life gain to keep us topped off. Because the only hit point that matters is your last one. And then lastly, and this is based on a suggestion, we're going to go Road Lantern to try to improve our big game. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave the Road Lantern off for now, but I may include it in future runs. Okay, 13 cards of 15 max. Let's go with it. All right. Alright, big game hunter block will be here. Not ideal, but not the worst thing in the world either. Alright, so our arsenal. Where do we want our arsenal? It has to be next to something. I guess we could put it like up here. So now that enables the helmet slot. Which is, again, it's a whole other piece of gear which can have stats on it. Ooh, and a nice thing. Alright, so yeah, we're gonna want ruins to start us off with here. So we'll take the grove here. Forest I'm gonna hold on to for the moment. Meadow? Yeah, we can start planning for chrono crystals. Actually, you know what? The forest we can actually start playing down, because I have there's a new use for forests now that we have the Storm Temple, and also it'll let us try out the Storm Temple proper. You'll see it in action in a little bit. Wow, we got literally 0 slimes spawn on that day. That is rather unfortunate. Alright, double thickets. I am going to use thickets to bloom meadows here, so we're going to put the chrono crystal here. Bloom this meadow over here, bloom this meadow over here, and get our attack speed up higher while we're at it. Yeah, these slimes do not want to appear for us here. There's our Storm Temple. So, my friends, here's the new use for forest. So forest is only half as good as the thicket. You know, 1%, but it also contributes more and worse things to like getting those village question marks. But now we have a new use for Storm Temple. And that is this. We set you like right here. It will burn any forest or thicket tile, and now the burn forest gives us 0.5 magic damage each, and it'll burn any new forest we put down here. So now we have a source of some attack speed plus some magic damage. Magic damage is good against skeletons, which we fight a lot of. Also, we got our nice early chrono crystal, so let's get that online. And we got our first helmet. Helmets have a base retaliation damage, which I think is just damage that we do every time we get hit. Kind of like spikes. Alright, another grove. Do I want to go heavy grove here? I think I do. And then we'll meadow up here. Alright, another forest. Gets instantly burned. So yeah, if we were to place a thicket down here, the thicket would also only turn into a burned forest, so it makes sense to burn the lower bonused ones and then just save the attack speed bonus for the thickets. And we have an Oblivion to back us up when we get our unwanted... Wow, just no slimes. Just absolutely no slimes. Alright, we got our ruins. At least we can start... so we get our loop started with here, and then we go graveyard, 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 blood grove. Everyone's happy. At least we got some rat wolves to fight. Okay, any of these better? No. That's better. Oh, will you quit whiffing? There's a better weapon. There's a better shield. Hang on, hang on. Alright, so where's our next... Yeah, I think our next one is like right here, so we thicket that. Burn the forest. And there's a nice early blood grove. Love it. All right, I'm feeling cautiously optimistic about this run. All right, more thicket. Gonna need that up there. Loop 3, but we have an appreciably good equipment for Loop 3. Now, the other thing that lightning takes 5 seconds to strike, so if we end the battle quickly enough, then it's not so bad. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a lead up with this. Now, the other thing, the other difference that I was gonna do is that I am not going to temporal beacon my big game hunter block. I'm gonna temporal beacon everything else, but not the big game hunter block. Because these fights, you know, I'm not going to make them as hard as the big game hunter block, so we might as well. Yeah, and see now good loot from the worms and guaranteed to die. They don't get a chance to flee. And now we get 11 in retaliation attack speed counter. Sure. The worms drop really good loot. That's the other reason why I wanted to go back to battlefield. Okay, we can still do some science here. So if we do like here, we can get a lot of bloody battlefields. Whether or not that's a smart thing, I don't know. Alright, the other one is going to be down here. And our first ring for evasion. But see how the bonus is like a weird number? Like you normally don't see 11%. That's that equipment bonus downgrade at work. You know, all of our bonuses are lower. But we get that whole extra piece of equipment, which just makes it all the better. All right, another temporal beacon. If we put you here, yeah. That works for me. Alright, loop level 4. Yeah, I know. I put that towards the back, and I'm not going to get the treasure chest for a while. Ooh, old painting. What do you do? Increases damage done to the boss by 4. Interesting. So an anti-boss bit of equipment. And there's the lightning from the temple. Now, granted, you know, so I'm thinking, and I may or may not place future temples to do the lightning strike on the path. I wanted to put it on there just to see, get a feel for it. But I'm also perfectly content with using temples just to burn the forests. So yeah, this guy can flee, but he didn't. I'm glad he didn't. Alright, step down in damage, attack speed counter, and evasion. Actually, I kind of want the damage, not gonna lie. Yeah, regen. Okay, so we could go for lots and lots of clot spawns over here, but well, we're gonna get lots and lots of clot spawns either way because this place is marinating itself in chrono crystals. So yeah, you know what? Let's give it a try. We're gonna get lots of clot spawns. And maybe that's a good thing, and maybe that's an awful thing. But we'll play it by ear. This is for science, people. More forests. Still no graveyards, which is disappointing. I have a feeling the 20% ate that. Yeah, no. Gonna give you a big nope. Gonna give you a big yep. Defense and evasion? Yes, please. Now, I'm not gonna be able to catch the Oops, some more smoked ham. We are no strangers to that. Do I? I mean, the evasion would be nice. The attack speed, we're not capping ourselves yet. Counters, whatever. I'm not. You know what? I'm not gonna downgrade our damage because we might fall below the 2-hit range here. All right. Meadow goes here. We'll hold on to that blood grove until we get another grove proper. Thank you for not being a mimic. Evasion, vampirism. Nah. There's our first cemetery. And there's all the clots beginning. There's our first vampires. Yeah, let's vampire mansion up here. Alright, what are you? Magic damage. I'll keep the evasion because we're stacking magic damage with our temple. Hey, it killed them both. The lightning was on my side this time. Oh yeah, skilled armorer. For certain. The other thing I've been wanting to experiment is stacking defense a bit more. So, skilled armorer for certain. There we go. Maunch and Crunch. Attack speed evasion. I don't want to give up my regen, honestly. I mean, the evasion would be nice. What do we got for here? Nah, I honestly want the higher defense stuff. Defense and regen, yes please. Excuse me. Alright, where are we placing our next meadow? Actually, I think I put that in the wrong spot. That's alright. Alright, first skeleton. Alright, regen and vampirism. Yeah, that's nice and high on the sustain. I'll take it. Higher damaging gray weapon, also much better. Ah, missed the cycle. Kitchen knife. Plus 1% base HP for each food item. Ooh, that can make up for some lack of mountains here. Okay, what do we got here? Higher defense, magic damage, defense, evasion. Not bad. Regen, evasion, defense. So this ring's kind of all over the place, but I kind of like it. Except for the counter. Not a huge fan of the counter. No, I don't want that. But this shield... Some extra magic damage, plus the evasion. But it also drops our regen, so maybe not. There's our grove. Blood grove. And another cemetery. We'll put this one in this corner since we're about to walk over it. Alright, our vampire chest fights. Let's see. Magic damage and vampirism. I like that. Alright, so here's my thought with these clots and why I want to experiment with it. Well, first off, they drop the liquid resource. But two, if we get our defense high enough, they take a long time to kill, but they don't actually do that much damage. So if we stack defense high enough, it could take forever for us to fight them, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. We could actually stall on those fights purposefully. Alright, where else can we chrono boost? I mean, this could make us stall even longer. But yeah, no, I don't want to boost up the big game hunter block. This will give us a few more tiles. I'm glad that wasn't a mimic. Why did you pop the chest first? Alright, drank our first potion. Alright, thicket. Gonna need one up here, burn the forest. A fancy hat. Magic damage and evasion. No, I like the higher magic damage, thank you very much. Ooh, 3 of these guys. But they're not hurting us too bad. But you can see how it takes us forever. We had a higher defense. Ooh, our first bookery. Yeah, they're still taking too much of a bite out of us. Maybe chrono-boosted blood paths are not the way to go. But hey, this is good stuff. So the bookery lets us exchange cards that we don't want every time we pass them. Now granted, we've been drawing nothing but cards that we do want. So we're not necessarily going to be using this that much. You know what? I'm going to Oblivion that card right there just so that we can get a proper corner. Because I'm about to lose the Oblivion. Alright, ruins. I mean, let's ruins over here since they're in line from here. Yeah, and then this can be our chrono crystal right here. This little whoop. Our next one anyway. And then, you know what? Let's vampire this area. Because these guys are relatively easy and they're going to get eaten by the Grove anyway. I'm not sure I want to stack. So, you know what? I'm going to feed the Storm Temple to the Bookery and we'll get a new card in exchange. Not sure I want to play another Beacon, so I might feed that to the Bookery as well. Alright, more liquid resource. Excellent. And yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to just keep doing this whole ruins thing. Like, space it out a little bit. Yeah. And yeah, the meadow doesn't get burned, so that still does what it needs to do. Yeah, that could just make the clot fights even worse. So we'll hold on to that to get bookeried. Yeah, we can grove this. Alright, so let's see how this fight looks. Ooh, yeah, and we're getting, we're raining on their parade. Okay, dominant mass. Yeah, defense, defense. This makes too much sense. Yeah, we're getting good equipment, get good drops. Hang on. Stop. Regen, invasion, vampirism, please. Pure regen's not quite enough for that ring. That's a lot of max HP, but I value the bonuses a little bit better. We are getting pelted here. Alright, hang on. So ruins over here. Thickets. Gonna need a thicket right here. Burn the forest. And then ruins, we can do like a ruins up here. Because that's not in range of anything else, really. Yeah, the more of them, the better it is, the better chances that it's going to be. And that's enough to feed that. And that was a 5-person fight, so we got an orb of expansion. We've been needing some of those. Okay, magic damage, attack, speed. Now you're talking. Welcome aboard. Magic damage, counter, vampirism. I'd prefer... Yeah, your defense and evasion. Your... As long as we have some form of regen from somewhere so we can get that stool bonus, I'm happy. Alright, where else can we chrono crystal? Without chrono crystalling the obvious place that should not be chrono crystalled. Yeah, we'll go up here. Alright, what do we got here? So, defense versus and regen is pretty good. That's no. Also no. Magic damage and attack speed, but no, I like the sustain. Keeping the sustain. Get it. All right, good. Got him before he attacked. Defense and evasion. Now you're talking. And you're about to spit out another golem. Alright, level 8 armor here. Now, level 8 shield. That's... You know what? I'm willing to sacrifice all of the stats for just raw defense. Because, especially since we're going into Clotland up here. Damage to all, counter, and regen. Not as good of a regen. Not as much defense. But the damage to all could certainly help us out. Wow. That didn't take long. Alright, we're going to need another... Aha! Waiting for that to appear. Alright, more magic damage, more magic damage, more magic damage! Are we... No, we're not. We still have the... I am going to bookery the beacon in the temple. Alright, more crystals. Where can we start putting these? We can up the spawns on these places. I don't mind more worms, honestly. Although we're not gonna get any extra meadow boosts out of those. Yeah, we put it right here, and we do meadows along here. Okay, couple skellies. Oh, hang on. Defense counter regen. I wish you'd stop giving me counter, because I'm really not enjoying it. Ooh, regen evasion. Although that cuts our defense way down, and I stated earlier that we wanted to go nice and high with that. Yeah, let's do that. No. No. Alright, grow meadow. Well, we know we can meadow here. Do we need to slap any groves down somewhere? I guess I could throw a grove like here and then blood grove up here once we get another one. Hopefully we get some blood groves from the bookery. Nope. But yeah, we could do another grove like over here. I might be making the latter half of this a little bit too hard. I think I'll hold on to the vampire mansion. Will you kill some of them, please? Because the idea of the stall and the stalwart warrior here is to make fights take forever. Oh, Nelly, hang on. So that our regen outpaces, our regen and our daily healing outpaces everything. The regen soared, but the damage is awful. Alright, we got our blood grove. We could use it for this fight, but I think we get more mileage out of it down here. More bookeries. Put one like right here. Alright, where else are we going to need to buff meadows? I mean, we can put it there. We don't need it to bloom, but I certainly want to place it. Ooh, good. 2 more cards we were missing. Yeah, see, this guy's only doing like 5 damage to me, which is exactly what we want. We want chip damage so that our regenning kind of keeps pace with it, along with all of the time we waste too, so that we can get more meadow heals. Alright, so we can blood grove up here. Cemetery needs to complete that. And then for do we want additional bookeries? Not really. We can shuffle. Shuffle for more environment cards. That's next to a chrono crystal. That we're gonna need an oblivion. Defense and counter? If it was something better than counter, I'd jump on it. Let's see. Magic, damage to all. Actually, yeah, this is much better and gives us a better item. Alright, what do we got here? Second thoughts. There's our old stamina drainer. Then there's the regen. Our regen's actually not as strong. But I think it's better than Articles of Protection because of our defense. Oh wait, dang it. You burned through some stuff that I didn't want you to burn through. Yeah, where else can we Chrono Crystal for good effect? I guess we can meadow like here. We do need to get a grove plus blood grove down here. Vampires. Yeah, we can do another thing of vampires down here. Who are you? Better damage, magic. No, not quite as damaging. And then you are strictly worse. Alright, retaliation damage and defense. Yeah, oh wait, that's a level 6, never mind. Level 8! Yeah, retaliation damage, regen okay, yeah. Fix that mistake. Ooh, that would be a mistake, that would be a mistake. Battlefield? Let's see what happens if we put one over here. And then, yeah, meadow goes here. Ooh, we're getting... That's the one downside to having this particular setup here, is that we're getting pelted. Alright, if we survive our trip through the through this loop, I may pack it in here, even if we're... just because there's some refinements that are needed. I'm not saying that we have chosen unoptimally, but there's some refinements needed. At least we get our orbs of expansion on here. And look how much, look how quickly that group melts. Like it is I am still happy with our performance here. Alright, I think we're gonna have to start placing unchrono crystal boosted meadows. Alright, magic dam. Oh, there's some heavy regen. There's my heavy regen. Counter and evasion. We're good. Yeah, so we just find places to place these meadows here. We find places for the thickets. Alright, magic damage and regen on the armor. Yes. Same damage to all. No, not better. wish he'd stop attacking him after you realize that he's got it. Oh, wait, we need a grove. Well, not really. We're not going to be facing the boss here. I've kind of committed to that. I'm watching the meter. I mean, if we accidentally spawn the boss, I'm not facing him. Yes. We'll take that extra regen sword. Thank you very much. You've got a lot of sustain on you. Not as much, though, because yeah. Yeah, see? Sometimes when it's hitting right, it's melting. It is melting. Yeah, we're not fighting the boss here, so... Sometimes... Wow, that's a lot of magic damage, but no, we need the defense, especially coming up to this part of the loop. He didn't even get a chance. And we're on loop 7. I like it. I like it a lot. Get our forest here. We've maxed out our temple. We could place another storm temple and burn a bunch of other things. Actually, we could go up here. This would actually be kind of funny. See what this does. Granted, it could also kill me, but let's give it a try, shall we? Alright, thicket goes here, forest, here, more thickets. Yeah, we place ruins. We place a ruins. We place a grove here. And yeah, nowhere else really to Chrono Crystal. Alright, another 5-person fight. There's our Blood Grove. And yeah, see, this is it. Like, a 5-person fight with worms is like so easy, and yet they give you good equipment. Alright, maybe we will fight the boss now that we have coverage here. And I mean, our hit point total's not terrible. Like, it is actually not terrible. Let's see how we look at the end of this little nook here. And you're getting ready to spit someone out too. Let's see how we do against the clots. Yep, there goes the lightning. Alright, hang on. Yeah, you're much higher damaging, but I like that regen. Oh my god, so much defense. So much defense. And here, we just slap Meadows down. Actually, you know, we could Chrono Crystal this area, because we're not taking this loop again. Put one here just for the resource gain. Alright, so forest. And our attack speed's really good, so against the Angel we could conceivably have a decent chance, but our HP is starting to wane. got plenty of orbs of evolution here. We're almost up to a full one of those orbs. It'll bring us ever closer to the river. Yeah, you know what? We'll just leave it like this. And again, let's just see how we look. Still kind of iffy. Not quite as good. Burn the forest. 545. Once again, this is where I wish I was live streaming this. I'd poll the audience, see if we should make an attempt on the boss here in our current state. Meadow over here. Meadow. Meadow. Thicket bloom. Battlefield bloom. Alright, 575 hit points with 2 potions in hand. Plus we've got the Blood Grove coverage. You know what? I think we go for it. I think we go for it. Wish me luck, folks. Alright, now let's check our equipment. Do we want just raw? No, we need the sustain. Everything else is lower level junk. So, yeah. But we got, look at it, magic damage, 20 bonus magic damage, 6 damage to all, got some vampirism in there, lots of defense, and we actually don't have any counter, which is really good. Alright, folks, wish me luck. Could you please stop? I refuse. 2 arms! Alright, we're hitting her. We got the attack speed. Oh, that was a tough evade. Like that wasn't the mirrors helping her out. Ah, stop evading! Those evades are when we should be hitting her, but we're not. Alright, well there's our extra regen in here. See if we can sustain here. Just on the raw stall. Whoa! What did 140 damage to me there? Got her! Got her! Yes! Woo, that was spicy. That was a spicy meatball. But I'm liking this build. And a failure again. Till we meet again, Zealot. Okay. I've got no... That's a tasty resource assortment there. No, I'm going to take that tasty resource assortment, thank you very much. And we going to say bye. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Now that's what I'm talking about. Let's see, what can we build? Not quite there at the river. An alchemist tent. We could build the lumberjack, actually. What do you do? After an expedition, gives you 1 stable branch for every completed loop, but no more than the amount of tiles around the lumberjack's hut. Unlocks the ability to craft furniture if the supply depot is built. Huh. Well, and that doesn't really conflict with our other stuff, so... This is how things are. Earlier we managed to stabilize a small part of the forest. Now it's almost a real part of the world. You can enter it and return safely without fear of disappearing from reality. You can even chop some wood there. Not all at once. Consider it our mutual triumph. The keeper of the forest is not very talkative, but he knows what he's doing. While you're away, he'll supply with wood, and he's also a decent craftsman if need be. Oh, you know what? I think you need additional forests? I mean, that would make sense why you... We have enough for another? Yeah, we do. Aha! So we just got to keep building the forest around his hut in order to get more free wood. Fair enough. All right, and we got a lot of those life orbs, so that's pretty good. I also probably should have built one of the watchtowers too. That's okay. We can spam the forests to get some extra goodies on that front. Alright, folks, so if you guys like this episode and you want to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment. Good, bad, or indifferent, your feedback's always welcome. So until next time, this has been Pinstar signing out. See ya!